Theatre, hello. This is the Dapper Man, and this is going to be my review for the horror science fiction film that is just made and is right now in theaters. By the time you watch this review, it'll probably be on Blu-ray and DVD. Who knows? It's called Underwater, and underwater. Sorry, stumbling over words. Is directed by William Eubanks, and William Eubanks has directed other science fiction films. This is the very first film I've seen of his. As I said in other reviews, usually I never watch their first movies, I always end up watching their second, third, whatever movies. However, since I've watched this, I'm now curious about his other two films. Those films was one that was made in 2011 called Love. I have absolutely no clue what that movie's about. And another movie has I know his name, Lawrence Fishburne, and that was made in 2014, and that is called The Signal. I've seen posters and trailers of it, but I could not remember a thing about it. All I can tell you is that this movie is something that may please creature feature film lovers such as myself. I owe a lot to films with creature feature films, with monster movies, with movies such as Frankenstein, The Wolfman, Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon, King Kong, Godzilla. I can go on forever, but I'll stop right there because these movies just open I guess, my path to film loving, to watching all these films, and I was able to watch these films and not get slammed on about it by my parents or anything of the sort. And that's just my story. I love films, and because it's monster films, and this is one of those films that actually helped my love for films. So I'm so thankful that movies like this is being made because whenever there's a science fiction creature, it's always or a monster film, it's done just strictly now for science fiction and not horror because everyone's getting to this satanic rite of horror films, which is something I don't really appreciate. So it's always something that has to do with the church, that has to do with some evil spirits, and I think it's just I think it's a cheap gimmick. I know people call monster films cheap gimmicks, but I believe those are cheap gimmicks because there's not too much imagination put into it. This one took some imagination. Now, I'm going to say this film will remind you a lot like Aliens. So this is basically if Aliens was happening underwater, that's exactly what this is. With its title, it's not very imaginative. I have to say that. I believe they could did a little bit more imagination towards the film Underwater for the title, but I guess this film has been floating around for 2 years, and it's for some reason the studio decided to actually release the film. Why it took so long, who knows? But I'm glad they released it. It is a fun film to watch. It has its flaws, it has its moments that you just beyond belief in just the most ridiculous fashion. I think everyone in the theater actually enjoyed it. There may have been one person who fell asleep. I think people just like to fall asleep in the theater I'm at. I don't know. It's the oddest thing because it happened in Joker. It happened in so many movies I've watched, but who knows? All I know is that it didn't keep me asleep. I was enjoying it. I had a fun time watching it, and it's something that I would recommend to you. If you want to know the very basic of the story, it's they are underwater at a drilling station, and an earthquake takes place. And after the earthquake, it rumbles some things up. People are trying to leave. Lives gets lost. Few are surviving, and they're trying to make sense of what's happening. They come across a creature. That's basically all I can tell you. So you just have to watch it for yourself. I'm just going to say one of the creatures I can't help, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it reminds me so much of something I would read from a H.P. Lovecraft novel. I'm not going to say what this creature is or what it resembles because to me it resembles very much a certain creature, and people might say it's spoiling it. I don't think it's spoiling it because you don't see very much of the creature until the very third of the movie, and this movie has done so much with trailers and posters advertising it's a creature. I was actually a bit impressed by Kristen Stewart's acting. She had her moments of blandness, which it's quite evident every time when I see her on a movie. I see her, I'm right there thinking like, oh, here we go again. I don't really care for you, but I'm watching this because it's a monster film. I really enjoyed watching her range and depth of emotions. I think she put more into this film than she has in other movies, and I don't understand why. I don't get it. Maybe it's because she shaved her head bald. I don't know. She can throw the good bald look. She nailed it. Not very many women can pull it off. She can pull it off. I like her role in this. I like her range of emotions where it shows her fear, where she shows that she's caring, where she's determined to fight for her life and others. It shows, and it's great. She has those little bit of moments, but the majority of the film, she really upholds this film quite well. There would be characters in this movie that you don't really care for. Me, particular, was the one by T.J. Miller. I don't think he's that funny. He has these moments where it's like completely annoying. It's like, I'm just thinking, please, shut up, mate. I don't want to hear you anymore. And then he gets back to like, okay, I can warm up to you. You're pretty good. And then he throws it away. He's like, oh, God, you're still annoying me. Please shut up. However, I believe it's a film you have a blast with. I believe you enjoy. And I enjoyed it. If you're a lover of monster films, this is a film for you. And it's rated PG-13. Here's the reasons why it is rated PG-13. That is my review for Underwater. Go see it. I enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you around to the next review. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to this page, to Dapper Man. Like and comment. I'm very good at commenting back. I believe I'm getting more notice for commenting, so I have fun commenting back because, I talk to you about movies. That's just the kind of person I am. It's just who I am. Until then, take care. Have a lovely day. Cheers.